Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Toku Portal Podcast, Kikai Sentai Zenkaiger. I am Vashi V, and joining me today is
Right. Welcome to episode, what is it, 28?
28.
28!
So I do want to start just one little note. So I realize I'm at fault for this because I started a little conversation before the podcast. I set this to start late, and we're still late. Because I was like, yeah, we'll jump in and get a couple minutes to talk, and then, yeah, no, we're still late.
uh, sorry, everybody. I was watching Deno with my roommate, and then I needed to go to the bathroom, so I'm the reason we're late.
I mean, it at least it wasn't a week late.
No.
I was also speaking of Deno, that was revised this week.
Oh, Okay, so I get the elephant thing now, because I just watched that. I get the elephant.
Which movie is it?
Final Countdown.
Okay.
There is no elephant in that movie. But there was supposed to be. So, it's 1700s Japan, and there's a festival going on where there's going to be a parade march. And elephants are a rare sight in that period, so that's why it was a big thing. But because the villain was a villain, the elephants got scared and ran away. So you don't actually see the elephants in the movie.
But they're supposed to. Okay.
There was
that does make sense.
And like Ryotaro is this is the movie where Ryotaro is being possessed by an evil Imagine the whole time. So like he's trying to tell Momotaros what the plan is, but there's also a bunch of explosions going on. So Momotaros doesn't hear the whole message. So he's like, "Oh, Ryotaro said to protect the elephants." So they spend like a third of the movie looking for elephants.
Oh, jeez, I need to see this. I think that's one of the few movies I didn't watch.
Oh, why not? It's a good one.
It's either that or it's been just so very long since I watched it. But yeah, they the remix form for this episode is a mammoth, and it charges on the Denliner tracks. But anyways, Zenkaiger.
Right, the actual show we're talking about. So, as we suspected, just every once in a while, take Zox's ship and go off into a parallel world and look for Kaito's mom. So, Kaito and Gowon are off in Vacation World, and Flint's driving the ship. So Zox and his brothers have been staying at the shop, whose name I forgot, even though I finally learned it last week.
That's okay. I don't remember what it is either. I just know it's a candy shop. To me, what makes this funny was
It's colorful.
Like, I wasn't expecting Zox to just walk out in his PJs.
Yeah, I was super confused until they explained it. I was like, do you live here now?
I was like, when the fuck did you start living here with him? I'm like, oh, he doesn't have his house at the moment.
He's staying behind in case of, Toji Tendo attacks.
You know, that thing that's gonna happen every time. Though I will admit, as much as I give like the stupid monsters, I don't give them a lot of credit. This monster was fairly intelligent. For a change.
So this week we got Manga World, who turns people into manga strips. And then he can collect multiple pages and compile them into a volume.
Having seen the artwork that they've used for this episode, they damn well better make a manga. They better pull a Kuga.
I have a strong inclination they pulled in their animation studio for this.
Because damn,
I,
this was a very the thing I liked about it was specifically for Kaito. It was that very 80s look.
yeah.
Like um what the fuck is it? Go Rangers comic book that I found at the fucking bookstore.
I'm a little like surprised that they didn't have the Lupin Ranger manga as like a cameo somewhere.
Like as soon as Vroom started collecting up the mangas, I expected that to be the manga they held.
No, I think it was Prince of Pirates or something.
Yeah, something like that.
uh,
On a side note, if King is watching this episode, stop spoiling the episode for me. I haven't seen it yet.
uh, I mean, what's it called? Dino Fury.
Yeah.
Dino Fury is okay. It is not bad,
I've
but
watched a few episodes of it. There's a character that her entire existence irritates me because she's meant to fill the Vulcan roll skull. The Vulcan skull roll. The fucking robot.
Yeah. So yeah, Dino Fury is okay. It's not great. Like it does its job, but despite how hard it tries, it does not stand out.
From what I can tell, the thing that makes this stand out is the same thing that made season 2 of Beast Morphers stand out. The callbacks to old stuff.
Season 2 of Beast Morphers was kind of a letdown for me. I'd have to rewatch it to find out if this is perspective or something, but like season 2 definitely felt lacking compared to season 1.
Like for me, what I noticed was really the things it had going for were Jason and the callback to RPM. That to me that was about the only thing that really had it going for it.
But yeah, I know Drago wanted to do a podcast on Dino Fury, what it aired at so far, but like I just have no interest. That show is okay at best.
I've had zero interest in it. It took this promo for me to even want to watch it.
The most interesting thing that has happened is finding out that the main antagonist is Mr. Freeze. And if that sentence confuses you, go watch Dino Fury.
Yeah, no,
go
you're
watch
right.
it.
Here's Mr. Freeze. Yeah, I remember why that comment confused me to begin with.
Yeah, if that sentence confuses you, go watch Dino Fury. It's not bad.
But it's the second episode that Mr. Freeze gets revealed, or that he is Mr. Freeze.
Oh, it's way farther than that. It's like episode 6 or something.
I swear that was fairly early on. Either that or I skipped episodes to watch that point.
Well, I mean, they've only aired like, what, 8 episodes?
11.
But yeah, no, it was definitely more than just a few episodes. Because they built up, like, the mystery behind the door for a while. Because, like, Slime Girl, whatever her name is, keeps...
Mucus.
She keeps being like, what's behind the door? I want to see. And at one point, Void Knight is just like, go ahead, take a look. And then she tries to open the door and he electrocutes her.
I'm disappointed in Mucus.
So I want to say it's like 6 to 8, somewhere in that area that you find out. Anyways, Zenkaiger. So, props to Riki and Katana or whatever, for trying.
Good job on everyone who tried.
Sneaking up behind the monster to steal the manga with all the people in it from him. Unfortunately, he seems to be aware of his surroundings at all times, and sneaking up on him did not work.
I mean, at least one of the monsters had to be. Because even Stacy's not aware of his surroundings.
Jurin and Majin get turned into manga, but Kaito comes in and saves them before they can get sucked into the volume.
Don't forget Vroom's weapon.
Yeah, Vroom's weapon, whatever.
Which, well, no, there's a reason why I wanted that pointed out. And that's when we get to the ending fight.
Did it come back? I don't remember.
He goes from attacking with a weapon to basically being a wrestler. Like, to the point where he jumps in cross bodies at bad guys. Because he has no weapon.
Good. Meanwhile, Toji Tendo.
Gage is an asshole.
Hey, Ijirude, what was that commotion in your lab the other day? Commotion? What commotion? I heard nothing about this. And then
Barashitara.
It's like, oh, didn't one of your precious specimens escape? What? You did what?
Yeah, but don't worry, I got it.
This whole endeavor has been nothing but bad luck for Ijirude.
Like, it's kind of sad. It's like I'm getting to the point where I'm more interested in the villains again. Because I've always enjoyed this type of villain setup where they're all after like their own specific goal. Or in the case of Ijirude, just trying to cover his ass for where all of his technology comes from.
The veil is falling down.
Like, to me, that's more interesting than what's currently going on. Week to week, anyways. Not the overall story, but like the week to week stuff.
So, the remaining Zenkaiger team has to come up with a plan. What if, since he likes manga, we make some manga and lure him out? But this offends Zox. Like, how easy do you think it is to make a manga, you amateurs? And he storms off.
I swear this was a line for the audience.
Probably. Good lesson regardless. Like, no, this shit is hard.
Yeah, and it's not easy, and it's apparently not fun.
So they decide, all right, let's just get some professional manga then.
Like this plan,
sorry,
as idiotic as it is, as it seems, it's actually a very well thought out plan.
Yeah, they leave a bunch of manga lying around, so that when Manga World comes by and notices it, he's like, oh, what's this? Oh, this is pretty good. Where are the other volumes? You know, like, collects them up and sits down to start reading them. Now, I understand that Kaito knows zero about previous Sentai, and does not have the knowledge that we have. However, Setchan does have access to all that knowledge. So I was a little surprised that when Kaito was going to try and sneak up on Manga World, he didn't use any of the ninja gears.
Like, any of them. Because there's more than just the one set.
Like, okay. Don't use the
like,
ninja.
What, 3 or 4 sets?
There's 3.
Yeah, because they don't hide.
Yeah, they don't hide. Kaku Ranger, though, hiding in the shadows, fighting against evil, I think that was their roll call.
Like, Kaku Ranger, I feel, would have been the best one. Because let's be real, Hurricane Ranger didn't really do the ninja thing too well either. Compared to Kaku Ranger.
Not hiding, per se, but, like, they were still, like, all traditional ninja stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Kaku Ranger would have been my pick.
like, and even at most, if they would have, if they would have used the real soldier gear, might have popped out Wiseroo, and it could have just went. I'm sorry, that's still my favorite ninja moment. It's just Wiseroo hide behind a curtain.
Sentai villain gears. Now there's an idea for the final arc.
Like, honestly, it's something that I'm amazed they haven't done yet.
Right?
Like, you can, because just, you don't even have to do an anniversary series with, like, the Sentai members. You could just have the villains using, you know, former villain stuff. Though I'd want to see just how much, like, because the reason why I want them to do this is because I want to see just how much of the American stuff that they actually acknowledge. Because I can't, for the life of me, I can't see them not trying to use Lord Zed, or at least like just give a monster his staff. Because they've acknowledged the fact that we're watching it too, with their unnecessary explaining of jokes.
So, Kaido fails to sneak up on Manga World and gets turned into manga himself. But then Zox flies in and makes it rain manga pages from the sky. And Manga World looks at some of them and is so fascinated that he starts collecting them. Like, no, I have to read what this is. And this provides the distraction that they were looking for.
This manga fight is not anywhere close to what I expected.
Vroom and Gowan inquire, Zox, did you make this? Nope. When I visited the manga world, I took this with me. It was the greatest thing I had ever read.
And more specifically, I need this show to cross over with Decade now. Because I need DN to show up to try to steal it.
Yeah, it was their greatest treasure or whatever. And then we get the best roll call to date.
Oh my god, this is so stupid. But it's so great.
The manga characters have manga transformations and roll calls.
Like I said, it's like the length they went for this episode is why I want a manga of this.
I really hope that they gave the artists plenty of time to do this.
Oh yeah, I hope so too, because damn.
And just the transition from manga to real time back to manga, like
it was nuts. Like, and then the fact that like they didn't keep the manga quote unquote stationary. Like, it switched scenes from point to point.
And like Stacy comes in to fight Kaito, and he's just fighting manga. Like it's just a giant floating like panel.
Piece of paper that changes size and everything else. It's like, dude, you're fighting magic. Stop.
He even uses the Dynaman gear like that, and it works.
I forgot that was a thing. Because like I'd gone back to look at various finishers over the years, and I forgot that Dyna Pink had her own finisher.
Roses.
That explode.
Eventually, though, they take out Zox specifically takes out Manga World. because he wants his brothers back. That is literally his whole motivation for being in this show.
I mean, to be fair, yeah, that's literally been his only motivation. That and apparently the free shit he can now get from Colorful.
That's just a bonus. He would have just stolen it otherwise.
Yeah, that's fair. Actually, he did.
Yeah, but then he promised to stop because Kaito won their duel.
One. But then again, win by forfeit does still count as a win.
I love that when the mech shows up, Zug's just like, Kaito, help me finish this guy off. And the others interfere, like, jump in to block Stacy, like, hey, if you want to fight, we're still here.
Now, fuck it, I'm out.
It's like, no, I don't care about you. I want to fight Kaito. I want to fight the main character.
So this episode has one thing that I got happy about. Because we've missed it a couple of episodes. And that is Zox's dancing. It is on full display this episode.
And Kaito's just like, alright, I forgot, and tries to dance with him. Kaito doesn't know how to dance. Yo-hoy! Yo-hoy!
Like, I want this series to end with the final time they use this transformation together, that they both do the dance perfectly. Like, I want to see him progressively getting better at it.
Final roll call, all dancing. No, not the final roll call. Just the one for when he finally restores SD World.
I'll accept that.
That's when it's all dancing, and Zox will be like, "Are you mocking me?"
That would be great. And the only reason why he doesn't, beat the shit out of Kaito is because his brothers join in on the dancing. That would be the best way to do that.
We looked it up a while back, but was it that Sentai's been consistently like 45 episodes lately or something like that?
45 between 45 and 48.
I'm wondering how close to the end are they going to hold off on SD World?
I say at least until Zox has that full switch.
But like, when will that be?
Honestly, I expected it before now.
Well, I didn't expect it until at least the mid-30s. Like, I'm saying at least episode 36.
Yeah, I can see that. That'll give him the next handful of episodes to fully integrate to being a member of the Zenkaigers.
And I'm going to guess that it'll be before, like, the final few episodes.
Yeah, before Bakawas finally leaves his wall.
So, I'm going to guess between 36 and 40.
Yeah, that seems like a very good spot.
And watch it be like 41 or something.
Yeah. Or 20, well, no, it won't be 29.
It won't be 29, but it could still be 30 through 35.
Yeah, it could. Yeah, watch it be either episode 35 or 41.
Like, damn, they knew.
God damn it, Toei, stop listening to us. We're going to get people in trouble if you keep listening.
Meanwhile, in Ichirude's lab, he's starting to. He only has one of Kaido's parents left, and the ideas in this man are starting to run dry. I mean, 10 years in stasis, no mental stimulation to get the ideas flowing. You'd hit the
What did
bottom.
he expect?
Yeah, you'd hit the bottom of the well eventually. Wait, mental stimulation. And then he does an evil laugh.
Unfreeze, freeze. Unfreeze, freeze. Unfreeze, freeze. I could literally see that be what Ichirude starts out trying to do.
I'm assuming that he's going to start feeding him nightmares.
Yeah. That does make the most sense.
It would put the pressure on him of like, hey, how would you get out of this situation, huh? What brilliant idea do you have for this?
Yeah. That would work. Like, you just do it like a reverse, him versus an evil Sentai team. And then whatever he comes up with, Ichirude makes for Stacy.
Alright, so back at Colorful. They inquire about Zox's fascination with manga. Of course, he wasn't really interested in it before they visited Manga World. It was that he read their, like, big one, their treasure, that was just so good, he had to have it. And Vroom mentions how he collected the pages during the fight.
I like the fact that they went back and showed him picking them up and going,
see?
Exactly what the monster did. Ooh, what's the next page? I gotta find the next page.
So it's like, everyone wants to read it. Like, let me see it. But Zox is like, wait, you have it? Give it back. It's mine. And then Yachan is like, hey, Manga World is free now. Return
Take
it.
it back. And then Zox trips him. So, this episode had one of my favorite jokes because it was so off character for somebody. When they were
when they were talking about how delicate the paper is.
Yes, and Vroom sitting there with a lighter going,
like,
it can easily burn. I was like, Jesus Christ, that's like,
his curiosity knows no bounds.
How fast will it burn? And then Flint sitting there creepily starting to rip it.
Next week, the Prince of Tennis.
Thank you. That's exactly what I thought. As soon as I saw it, I'm like, yeah. You're just taking ideas from anime now.
Did Toei Studio do that one?
Let me check.
They did Dragon Ball, Digimon. What else have they done? I actually don't know a lot of their work.
Trans Arts Productions.
That is not Toei Studios.
OVAs, MSC, anime television series. Yeah, MSC production.
Okay. So,
but it was also on TV Tokyo. So it could just be, hey, this aired on the same network.
Maybe, yeah. I only ever saw like a few episodes of The Prince of Tennis. Was it actually any good?
I have no idea. I've never watched an episode.
I saw a few episodes.
Like, it's one of those things, like, it's the same reason why I haven't watched Hayaku or Free. I'm not interested in those sports.
Oh, okay. So those are like sports though. Like Prince of Tennis is like, It's like if okay, so it's okay, so in the first arc, like I think the main character is in like junior high, but he's so good at tennis they're letting him play on the high school team. I think that's the plot. And he has to like prove himself to the like other teammates. So one of them like challenges him to a game and he does this what he calls a snake shot where he hits the ball like to the left side of the court and it spins so fast that it curves midway and swings over to the right.
Huh. I
Like
mean, to be fair, you could do that with a baseball. Not that sharply, but you can do that with a baseball.
but like this is
It would make sense.
at one point the prince like he hits the ball and like he hits it between his opponent's legs and instead of bouncing like it should it hits the ground and just spins in place and stops there, no bounce, like it's fucking magic.
That is pretty much what that sounds like. Like it to me, it sounds like the tennis match in high school DxD.
I never saw that.
Ignore the pervertedness of the show. It's got some serious moments in it and some genuine humor. But yeah, it's like I guess one of the other devil families challenges uh, the Grimmery family to a series of competitions to see who would get first dibs at whatever they were going to do. And they end up challenging to tennis, and it's supposed to be a normal tennis match, but then they start using magic. And it becomes an insane tennis match to the point where, like, the little plot gets destroyed, and they have to stop because it wasn't going anywhere. Because they were evenly matched. And then there's one where they played dodgeball, but again, magic was involved. Like it was a lot better than I was anticipating for how that show got described to me. There's been a few shows like that have shocked me with how good they are.
So my roommate and I have been on a kick of like watching new shows, like, and there have been multiple times where we were like, let's just sit down, watch a couple episodes of this one, see if it's any good. With one of them, we did that, and that's what we were saying. It was like, yeah, we'll watch a couple episodes, see if we like it or not. 4 hours later.
Dude, I did that with Overlord. Like, I started Overlord, I'm like, because I kept seeing memes for it. And I'm like, oh, fuck it, I'll check it out. Like, binge watching it while at work.
We did that with Kipo and the Wonder Beasts. And the Age of the Wonder Beasts.
Yeah, that's something you told me I need to watch.
Yeah, it's on Netflix. Like, we were just gonna watch the first couple of episodes while we ate dinner. We ended up binging the entire first season. And then paced ourselves after that.
Like, there've been a lot of shows that I've, like, started and then, you know, dropped off because, it wasn't as good as I was expecting. But then there's shows that, like, I started watching, I'm like, this is, like, the greatest show ever. Can't stop. Must watch all of it. Like Archer, for example.
We did that with Owl House. We were both like had been meaning to get around to it, so we finally decided to sit down and watch it. And season 1 was really good. And we've been watching season 2, and every single episode of season 2 blew us away. So far. It's still like it's on hiatus right now.
Yeah, we get spoiled with our tokusatsu in that.
Yeah, he was surprised at how much he enjoyed Den-O, because it's like, this is not his kind of show, and, like, you can see the budget.
Yeah, you could see the budget. Not.
But he was pretty surprised at how much he enjoyed it.
Uh, well, if he decides to sit down and watch Ryuki, he's definitely going to see the budget there too.
Oh boy.
Oh, like I'll give Ryuki credit for as much as they did practically without special effects, outside of like the explosive packs and whatnot.
But like, the CGI monsters, that
Yeah,
they look
that
rough.
yeah they do. Like as much as everybody gives Dragon Knight crap, at least their monster, their when they used their own CG stuff for it, it didn't look as bad.
Oh really? They changed it out?
Some of it, not a whole lot, but like they got to the point where they were like CGing the grunt monsters,
Oh.
and yeah, it didn't look nearly as bad as it did when Toei did it. Like that was a point where you could see that the company that had it had that Power Rangers money of we had success with all of this, so we're gonna throw money at this to try and make it better than every other attempt at tokusatsu that they've had. Because let's face it, some of their choices that have been made over the years were questionable at best. I'm looking at you, big bad Beetleborgs, and your weirdo freakazoid clown, and VR troopers.
So we're in the post series of Den-O now. So that'll take us maybe like a couple weeks to get through the movies.
Um, so episode Red's the next one you should have in place, right?
No.
No.
Next up is Climax Deca, which is the Kiva movie.
Okay.
Then the 2 episodes of Decade. Then Cho Den-O and Decade, and then episode Red, Blue, and Yellow. Red, Yellow, and Blue. I don't remember.
Yeah, whichever order. I just want him to get to the best joke in the entire fucking series of Den-O.
Which one?
Why'd you throw the fucking pass? We need this to get back on the train.
Oh, that's episode Yellow. So yeah, that's the last movie we're gonna be watching.
That is the best joke in all of Den-O. Because and the reason why I find it the best joke is because it's something that never gets brought up the entirety of the show. Of him just jink and chucking it. And it took until the last movie for them to go, yeah, we need to address this. By the way, here's what happens after every fight. But no, so I was talking with King because she had time off from, or I'm assuming time off from school, and like make sure I get the wording on this right. She said, what do you recommend? Watching Revice and keep up with it, or marathon the last 3 writers to catch up, or both?
King asked you that?
Yes.
The last 3 writers were
Zeo, 01, and Saber. Honestly, I said both because that's personal. Because as much as 2 of those shows sucked, for a good portion of it,
just watch Zeo for the fan service because the fan service is great.
Yes, and I was like, for me personally, both. Watch the new one and keep up on it because it's not directly tied to the previous ones, except for that the writers existed.
And 01 has its problems, and it has a low point in the middle, but it's a great show overall.
I was like, warnings. Zeo is only truly really good when Decade is involved. Everything else is just because of the fan service is why that show is even remotely passable. And was fantastic. Unlike Zero One skips over some stuff because of COVID, and Saber just seems to ignore story plots and then just
Like
kind of remembers them, and they all come together.
I can't speak for Saber.
I will admit that show came together. It took way too long for it to come together, but it did. And she's like, anything I might look forward to, and like Zio, all the old stars.
Okay, so in Zio, there's a moment where two veteran writers from previous shows show up for no reason and just start fighting each other because, and it has nothing to do with everything else going on, and it's awesome.
Wasn't that Fies?
That happens multiple times in Zio.
Okay, so I'm like, I know Fies did that. They just up and kidnap somebody, or Kaiser just up and kidnapped somebody, and then they just started fighting. I was like, for 01, Jin and Naki.
Yeah,
because
Jin.
The Jin and Naki storylines were fantastic. And then for Saber, I said May and the Sword of Light.
Yeah. What was his
Yuri.
name?
Like Yuri, I think.
Yuri, yeah. He was good. He was one thing I really appreciated during the second arc of Saber was when they cut out all of the other characters to focus on Toma and Yuri's friendship and show you like a natural build up to it. Like Yuri just kind of invites himself into Toma's life, but then you see them get along and develop a friendship. And it's
Right.
what was missing from the first arc of Saber.
It's like, and then you just have the clusterfuck that is Ren, Kento, and all of that nonsense. Like, as don't get me wrong, I absolutely love how that played out with in the end, and I get why it took so long for it to be a thing, because it was more of like the Ren storyline was more of him showing up and either getting his ass kicked or being outclassed by everybody else, specifically Toma. And they finally got around to explaining why that bothered him so much. Is because I've been at this my entire life. Why are you better than me? How are you stronger than me? This makes no sense. I need to figure this out. Now, the good portion of him just off doing whatever with Disaster was him trying to find that answer, which by the end of the series he does. And it's actually very well done. And also, I'm still mad at the show for making me cry over Tassel. God damn it. And Disaster, for that matter.
Oh, and the first Phoenix. He's cool too.
Oh, balked. He was a previous writer too, wasn't he?
I
think he was from Amazons. I think.
I was about to say. I think he was in Amazons.
Like, and that's one thing I've been enjoying about, like writer over the last good portion of years is like either the references and the callbacks, or seeing Sentai members be writers or writers be Sentai members. Like it, very well done, and seeing everybody play like different roles than what we previously known them as, and sometimes for the better. Looking at you, Canon. But yeah, it's like that. That's one thing I've been enjoying. Oh, and Revice teased a secondary writer already.
Makes sense. Any details?
The belt is black and red.
Okay.
and it just has this like the square stamp piece, like where he's stamping it. It's just facing outward, and there's like a little notch in the center, kind of like Brave Dragon. Cross Dragon. So it just kind of sits in the center. His brother grabs it after, and he goes, hey, let me use this and, continue to fight. And he goes, George, the common rider nut who made the belt, literally goes, you, who literally bitched out the last time? No. And so now so they're teasing him going evil.
I mean, you did describe an evil belt.
Yes, I did. 100% I described an evil belt. It would be weird if it wasn't. I would be disappointed if it is. Because I'm quite enjoying the straight up monsters. Also, a lot of people are pissed off at Deadman's.
Oh.
Well, let me rephrase that. A lot of people in the U.S. are pissed off at Deadman's.
Why?
Cultural appropriation. How dare you not have Latin people dressed up as mariachi people? And also, there's more to the Latin culture and Spanish culture than mariachi people. Meanwhile, everything I've seen from the Latin community about it, fucking love Deadman's.
If there's one thing white people excel at, it's getting offended for other people who don't care.
And if you get offended on behalf of somebody else, you're an asshole.
Yeah, you're the problem.
Like, because the Latin community is because I've been scrolling Tumblr for Revice and stuff like that. Just this, kind of gauge, where people are thinking with the show. And yeah, it's a lot of white American people getting pissed off because, God forbid, we use, Mexican culture for anything. Well, God forbid Japan use Mexican culture when literally Deadman's the entire reason Deadman's is like that is because it's a throwback to the original writers when the freaking grunts were literally Mexican luchadors. It's a throwback. It's a callback. You idiots.
Yeah, this is why I don't follow fandoms for literally anything.
I follow them because it's a lot of it is I find it hilarious the viewpoints that some people get. The only thing that I've seen that I'll kind of accept that they keep calling out for is for Vice's voice actor to catch shit for his blackface and all that. Okay, fine. I can accept that. Because racism sucks and it's bullshit. Even if you're trying to be funny, whatever the case may be. So I get that aspect of it. But them getting pissed off at other shit in there is some of them are pissed off because the members of Phoenix have a uniform. They all dress the same. They have a logo on their chest and they wear red armbands that say Phoenix. I'll give you 3 guesses what they're trying to antiquate them to.
You think that takes 3 guesses?
I'm trying to be polite. Don't get me wrong. Everything about Phoenix screams evil organization. We've watched enough fucking Toei. Yeah. We've watched enough Rider to realize that somebody in that company is a dick.
And hey, guess what? They're dressing up like Nazis.
It's the only thing I will accept as a complaint about it is, it hit the nail on the head a little too squarely. You could have missed the mark just a little bit without being as blatant. And that's my only issue is like they've made it as blatant as possible that somebody in that organization is evil. Most likely the head guy. Because again, look at every other security force that has ever been in Rider. Somebody's been evil in it every time. And if I'm wrong on that, please correct me. But I don't think I am.
All right. Thanks for joining us tonight, everybody, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time. Thank you for putting up with our crap of just rambling about Kamen Rider.
For like 30 minutes.
Yeah, there wasn't much to discuss this episode.